What are things you wish you had known before coming to Harvard or just college in general?
Seem pretty elementary, but I guess I wish I'd known how hard Harvard would be. I think it's something that obviously I knew if I thought about it, but didn't really realize coming in. Just having gone to a high school that wasn't that competitive and always having had the luxury of sort of being amongst the top of my class for that reason. The pressure of being compared to people who are intellectually, and in terms of their experience, far more advanced. I would have had to struggle with that and ultimately come to terms with that by just realizing that is an opportunity for growth as well, right? You learn more from people who are smarter than you, and that is a luxury and something to be grateful for in a way.
Quite a few things, actually. I think in contrast with my previous answer, I think there's so many opportunities here, and I would have liked to realize early on that there is no point in overcommitting myself, because you cannot take advantage of all of them just because of time constraints in general. And so I think it's really important to, one, kind of like prioritize and really organize yourself well so that the things that you do commit to, you can commit to fully, and also that they reflect, your goals and your passions and your ambitions. So that's one thing. And then another one is I didn't realize that professors, a lot of them here are really committed to their students. They're not just here for, the research or the labs, like they're actually committed to student growth, not just in their classes, but also in general. And so I also wish I could have seen that from that perspective, instead of just seeing professors as, this kind of like threatening figures that gives you grades, And I think another thing too is obviously here there's a lot of super interesting people.
I think maybe one of the biggest things I wish I had known before coming to college was how just wonderful of a resource professors can be. I guess coming from high school, professors were helpful people and I had good relationship with them, or teachers, I guess. I definitely didn't call them professors at my high school, but I guess coming to college, I sort of saw professors in a different league, and I didn't go to any professors' office hours, I think, for my first and second year. Like, I sort of really avoided them. I went to office hours of teaching fellows and other sort of things and built really good relationships with a lot of TFs, but I really didn't consider using office hours and other opportunities to build close relationships with professors. I wish I had known that I could do. As a freshman, a professor actually might, the vast majority of professors, which I didn't anticipate, would be interested in having a meaningful relationship, even with you as a freshman.
I definitely can think of a specific thing, but I just want to say that a lot of the things were learned on the way. So one thing that I actually wish I knew was to focus less on comparing myself to others. I spent a bunch of my time in my freshman year comparing myself to student X, Y, Z, and I think that that's just not productive at all. That's not a healthy thing to do for yourself, especially when you're in a very competitive environment like Harvard's. So definitely, I wish I could focus on what I want to do, and think of success as a multi-layered thing, not just one type of there isn't just one type of success.
I wish I knew how intentional you have to be about getting things done. So meeting with friends, going after opportunities. There's a lot to do at Harvard and I think college in general. And
I thought I was pretty prepared for college, to be honest. But I've learned new things. I think just as I said, it's important to do what you like. It's important to be honest with yourself. It's important to have good relationships with others. So these are the things I learned in college.
I think when I was sort of applying to go to college and sort of senior year, right before I came, I really had this sort of one-track mind as a pre-med of what sort of pre-med life was going to be like. And I felt a lot of this pressure of sort of following the same path that a lot of people do. And now, sort of 4 years later, meeting all these people, meeting the people that I sort of are also applying to medical school, going to medical school, and you really realize that there's a lot of different things that you could do, things that aren't a part of the same narrative that people are trying to craft. I wish 4 years ago I had a better idea of what all the different paths of being a pre-med could be, and maybe focusing in on different science activities and trying new things.
I think there's one big thing for me again, which would be that there is no such thing as a quintessential Harvard or college experience ever. So I think coming in my freshman fall, when I first entered Harvard, I had a very strict idea or very crystallized image of what an ideal Harvard student should be. I thought an ideal Harvard student should be striving for excellence in academia and athletics. I thought that they should have a wide breadth of knowledge to an extreme degree in social sciences as well as sciences and arts and humanities, just like throughout the range. And I also felt that like they should just be acting perfectly in life as well. Just kind of all those images and romanticizations that I had about Harvard students. But as a result of this way of thinking, I started really realizing that I felt suffocated almost and very restricted and almost had a sense of loss about why I came here in the first place and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to contribute. And so towards the end of my freshman year, I had actually this one person who approached me and said that I would be much happier if I just kind of pursued something that I could be in my true element in, that I'm really passionate about. And so the summer after my freshman year is when I started to kind of search more for opportunities that fit my prior interests. So I had prior interests in social justice issues, for
I think maybe 3 things pop into my mind. The first of which is just knowing that references, practically speaking, are something that's important for life after college, and that's something I think I would have tried to be more intentional about. The second thing perhaps is just knowing that everyone is coming to college and is in a fairly similar position, I think, of being new to this unfamiliar place and wanting to meet other people. That's something else. And maybe a third one is just that given all the resources that are available both in within college and in the area around Harvard at least.
So before coming to Harvard, I think I had the expectation that it was going to be just overall a very challenging experience. However, I did not know how I was going to cope with it. And I think I wasn't expecting it to be very overwhelming sometimes, that I would have to deal with a very fast-paced environment and just be applying for the next opportunity all the time. So I wish I knew about that, and that although it sounds cliche, it's very important to just take one thing at a time and just really follow your own pace. And it's a very common feeling among all of us.